Welcome back everyone to part 2 of Rob Skiba and the 3 little Lees. Obviously part 1 we discussed 2 of them, and that was personal projects and profit. Finally we're on to the 3rd and final one, the most important really, plagiarism. And we aren't seeing any more. Over to Anthony and Kathleen Patch from the 17th of October this year.
Well, speaking of that, you told me a very interesting story this morning over coffee with respect to your book. And speaking back in 2013, you were talking about, in the book, the viruses, the vaccinations, and this was it late 2012 into 2013 that Stan Johnson contacted you and offered to fly you out?
Let me tell the story. Mid 2013.
All right.
So most of you have seen the video that has the date January 2014 on it. My first public video, and I was talking about MERS coronavirus, SARS coronavirus, talking about the vaccines and the Hegelian dialectic and all of those good topics. And that date is actually the date that video was incorporated into another gentleman's YouTube channel, Nicholson 1968. He and I were collaborating. He asked me for permission. I said, of course, happy to have you. So in January 2014, he put that video of mine in a longer video that he put together regarding the mark of the beast. Well, that sort of went viral over the years, especially more lately since January of 2020, it pretty much had gone viral. But I have the timestamps of the very first interview I did regarding my book, regarding that video, the very first public interview that I did. It was on Blog Talk Radio. And that was in March of 2013. And the video that I'm speaking of, I paid a videographer, a professional videographer, to join him at his home. That's not my house, the background you see in that video. That's not my place, that's his place. And we just sat down. He was on the couch across from me, and we had a casual conversation. And little did I know the implications of what I was talking about in 2013. Well, that video did get out. I had then the videographer helped me to create a YouTube channel. And that video started making the rounds. Then I was asked to do a Blog Talk Radio interview about that video in March of 2013. And then it really started to get around a little bit more. And I was then contacted by the Prophecy Club. Pastor Stan Johnson contacted me around June of 2013. And he made 2 specific statements to me, offers. The first one, he said, I really am impressed by what you have stated in this video regarding SARS and MERS and the vaccines, that you couldn't force people to take the vaccine, but you could get them to demand the vaccine. And that was all part of the Hegelian dialectic discussion. And I said, well, that's great and everything. He said, what we do here at the Prophecy Club is we have speakers that we sponsor to come out to our studios, and they can speak before a live audience and we record it, or we can do this just in the studio without an audience. The point is we generate DVDs. And I'm here to tell you what you are revealing. Again, this is Pastor Stan Johnson. What you are revealing right now in 2013 has huge ramifications for the future. I would like to offer to fly you out, spend a couple of days with us, and we'll put together a DVD series. Now here's the punchline. He said, I can guarantee you that you will earn a net profit of $100,000 within the first year of the sales of those DVDs. Well, that impressed me, but I wasn't so sure. I didn't know this gentleman, never had spoken to him before. And I was not motivated by dancing dollars. I didn't want to be known as a person who's putting out a DVD series. I wasn't there to hawk my wares. I was simply trying to warn people. And I was talking, of course, in this video with respect to my first novel. That was the reason I hired the videographer, was to generate some publicity for Covert Catastrophe. And the things I was talking about are in Covert Catastrophe. MERS, SARS, vaccines, Hegelian dialectics, all in Covert. So that was all well and good, and I said, let me consider that. I didn't want to be rude. The very next thing he hit me with, he said, have you ever heard of the currency, the dinar? And I said, yes. He said, well, it's not in circulation. It's been devalued. It's been taken out of circulation. But I have inside information from the Middle East, contacts that have told me that it is going to be brought back into circulation. And when it does, people are going to stand who have invested prior to its recirculation. They stand to make a great deal of money. I didn't say anything. I was just listening. And he said in the very next breath, if you today send me $500, I can guarantee you that within 5 years, the dinar will be recirculated. It will be revalued. And you will stand to profit $5 million for your $500 investment. If you send it to me today, typical high pressure sales pitch. And as Kathleen just said, it was a Ponzi scheme.
So many people were taken in by that whole dinar thing. So that confirmed to me what the Holy Spirit was saying about the DVD program for $100,000. That this was a gentleman that I did not want anything to do with. No.
I politely declined both offers. He continued to pester me by email for several weeks, for several months, for the $500. So that's my experience with the Prophecy Club. I wanted to share that with you.
And eventually, others took that information from your book and utilized it and made it their own.
At the Prophecy Club, there is a video that was produced shortly after that by another person who nearly verbatim said everything that I had said in that video from 2013, January, and in my book that was published in January of 2013. Now, it's not sour grapes. I'm simply letting you know. I've done my research. I've done my homework. You guys know that. We are all about cross-checking, verifying, looking at sources, vetting, the whole thing. And then we put things out as best as we can. Sometimes we get fooled, but we do the best we can. Certainly for a book that is about technology, I'm doing my research. And to sit down and put together a video, now let me also be transparent, that's the word for tonight. This videographer was a gentleman that I had gotten to know over a course of a couple of months. Nice guy, we were friends, associates. And I knew about his profession, and at one point I approached him and I said, I just published my book, it's out, I've got it sort of circulating. Can you help me with a video? We talked about the particulars, and he charged me $400. When I look at it sort of retrospectively now, I'm going, gee, I really kind of got taken. But anyway, he was a professional. I paid him his professional going rate, $400 to do this, to edit it and put together some music under it, which a lot of people have said, boy, you should have lost the music. It's too creepy. But anyway, it got the message out, and it is continuing to do that. But it's not sour grapes that the message is being repeated. You've heard us bring this up before. You've heard us bring up other people when they present a good message, good research, good sermon. And we go, yeah, John Smith, Jane Smith, great, go listen to it. We do that. Or we obtained this information from, and we cite the source, whether it's scientific or spiritual, right? Because that's what you do. We are, number one, Christians. Number two, we consider ourselves to be operating in a professional manner. This is what you do. You cite your sources. You give credit. Professionally. We're not seeking accolades and our names and lights and all. You know that about us.
If we were, we'd still be public.
We would still be public and paying Doug to do a lot of advertising and other nonsense marketing things. But in good professional standing, if you're a pastor, if you're a preacher, if you're an educator and you're presenting information you obtained from me or from other people, cite your sources. Acknowledge the person who has done the homework and who has had the guts to stand up and present that information. Say, good and faithful servant. So, just to tie up the loose ends on this Prophecy Club topic, there's a video that is going around now in which the speaker is standing before the backdrop that says Prophecy Club and is stating the things that we have presented here. And the video is a few years old, but nonetheless, it follows my January 2013 presentation of that exact information. And it is disturbing that there is a lack of professional courtesy. That's the bottom line here. The message is getting out. Needs to be done. Information's got to get out. But that professional courtesy, professional integrity is lacking by the speaker. And because of the association, due to the invite by the Prophecy Club, Stan Johnson, makes me question. It's you know me, red flag on the field. Red flag on the field.
Well, this person presenting the information that the person presenting this information was doing it because you would not go out there and do the DVD series with him.
Exactly.
So he took that information and had somebody else parrot it, basically.
He found somebody else who could stand up in front of the camera, in front of a live audience, and produce a DVD series with the same information, and they profited on it, and who knows whatever else they did. But this is not sour grapes as far as the money or any of that with me or the accolades. I'm just saying professional integrity requires professional courtesy.
But we also realize that that's probably not going to happen in this world. We would hope that it would. You know, there isn't, you know, with Anthony and I, and you guys know this, if somebody sends us a paper, we don't always know if it's okay to mention the person's name, but sometimes, you know, when we receive it, we will say, thank you, John, for sending us that, or we won't mention the last name. But if you send us anything that we cite here, Anthony and I will always acknowledge that it was sent to us, you know, either by a listener or, you know, a friend of ours passed this along, and we consider all of you friends.
Or multiple friends that have sent it to us. It's the same thing. You know?
So we just want you to know that we appreciate, and that's really what it comes down to, is really appreciating the work of another individual that took the time to think about it, process it, and then present it. You know, and I would hope that others would want to do the same. I think as children of God, to withhold that, it's a weakness in your character, and you could ask
Absolutely.
why. You know, are you feeling intimidated that somebody else might claim something, or are you feeling, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just, anyway,